Shalom. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to 144,000 and 1/3, the greater multitude. Okay. May peace and blessings be upon your households. The spirit of endurance. As you know, there has been this 12-foot tall bronze statue that's been erected in Times Square. Okay, and if you can look at it, it's a caricature. Okay, now let's go to what caricature means. All right, definition of caricature: a picture, description, or limitation. No, sorry, a picture, description, or imitation of a person in which certain striking characteristics are exaggerated in order to create a comic or grotesque effect. All right, let that sink in. A picture, description, or imitation of a person in which a certain striking characteristics are exaggerated in order to create a comic or grotesque effect. I mean, that's not really exaggerated, because the so-called black woman is a caricature, a walking caricature, you know. You see how she looks today? You watch the old videos, even from back, say, 35 years ago. You look some of the footage of barbecues and I don't know, high school dances or whatever. I don't know, the club scene, even though they were wicked back then, but they were in shape for the most part, and they looked a little bit better than they do now. They look completely grotesque today. All right, you go back 40, 50 years, 60, 70 years, 100 years. Okay, the so-called black woman was, somewhat attractive. Natural hair, attractive, nice shape, They weren't overweight. All right. Nowadays, it is just a complete caricature, tattooed up, looking crazy, And this is just another example of, you know, paraphrasing another scripture here, calling good evil and calling evil good. Now, the so-called black woman is evil. All right. If Esau's so-called Batman is Batman, she's Robin. All right. They go hand in hand. All right. But at this moment in time, you can see that the tight grip that Esau, the so-called white man, and she, used to have on the so-called black woman's hand, he's letting it go. All right, he's not keeping her in all those high-profile roles anymore, high-profile jobs where she can feel uppity and everything. All right, all the movies, all the shows, spiritual power movies. Who do they have in the forefront as a person of color with spiritual power? It's always a black woman. Even in X-Men, who they got? All right. They got Halle Berry. All right. Now Halle Berry, she's not a grotesque looking woman. In her prime, she's very attractive. Nice natural hair, nice skin tone, complexion, features, shape. I mean, that girl could actually grow her hair if she wanted to. Right? But they still used her as someone with spiritual power, when they could have used somebody else. They could have used a so-called black man. But they wouldn't do that. Why? Because they want to keep Jake down. And this is just another example. This is like the hood version of the Statue of Liberty. It is just for people to come from around the world, and as they walk through Times Square and take pictures with their children and laugh at it. Look at that ninja woman. Look at that ninja. Look at that mammy. Look at that. Look at that. You're just not this specific figure here. The so-called black woman is just basically a CUM bucket for other men of other nations. Yes, they lust after you. Yeah, they see that backside gyrating. For some of the so-called black women that are attractive. Other nations, other men of nations, especially the so-called white man, the Edomites, they just want to sleep with you, freak off with you, maybe film it, film it, show it to their friends, and you think that a man desiring you to get you into bed is them taking you seriously. Okay? I guess you don't know how men are programmed. Okay? Sex is just a release for us with a woman. You understand? If we take you seriously, we take you seriously. But most men, right, especially when it comes to a heathen woman they don't really care about, they're just going to use her, right? I mean, because to the so-called white man, you're a heathen. They're just going to use her, you know? And you know how the heathen nations are. They're going to use you, run trains on you, all that kind of stuff. And you think that, oh, all these white men like me. Okay? You're a mockery. You're a joke. Okay? So I've even watched some footage of women saying, oh, he looks intimidating. Why does a so-called black woman need to be intimidating for? You're supposed to be a source of comfort. You're supposed to be a teacher to younger women of to do good things, paraphrasing a scripture. You're supposed to teach other women, younger women, to love their husbands, love their children, how to be good wives, paraphrasing another scripture. Instead, you do everything adverse to it, and then this whole bunch of videos popping up of women from all the tribes saying that they want a man, they want a man. You chase the man away. Hmm? This is you chasing the man away. That's why they put you up there alone. I mean, they could have made a statue of, a man right next to you with some children, right? But they didn't do that. They made you alone with your hands on your hips, with that sassy look, fat, with a wig on your head or whatever that's on your head, dreads or whatever, shoulder length dreads, I don't know. And made just complete mockery out of you. All right? Let's go to scripture. Lamentations 2:15. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? So when women, of other nations walk by you, they just laugh, they laugh. And some of you so-called black women think that you've made it. Oh yeah, they got a statue of us, girl. Look at that. Oh yeah, look at that. That woman looks like my mother. I respect that statue. Some of you dumb ninjas probably go up there, start lighting incense, and start bowing down to it. And start saying, "Oh, that's a queen goddess. That's oh, that's God. That's that because some of you jakes think that God is a female. You start bowing down to it. Some of you jakes would do that. You're simple. Deuteronomy 28 verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashai shall lead thee. Just look at this. Let's play this.
Puts truth on display. Some of y'all can't handle it. A 12-foot tall bronze statue in Times Square is revealing exactly what people feel about black women. Some folks on social media have called the statue disrespectful, fat, black, and ugly, and even monstrous.
Which it is.
Others have even likened its features to the racist mammy trope that dominated media during the Jim Crow era. The commentary has been alarming and unfortunate. It felt like there was a bigger issue at play, so I decided to go see the statue myself. Thomas J. Price is grounded in the...
This is where the so-called black woman is, the Israelite woman is today. And this is the reason why, because you're the Judite woman, you're part of the head tribe, all right? So therefore, if you destroy the woman, you destroy the nation, okay? Because once a woman is taken out and turned out, okay, that's how you bring a nation down. If you want to look at as our elder apostles would say, in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, if you want to look at the condition of a race, look at their women. Okay, look at the black, Hispanic, Native Indian woman. From fighting the so-called white man to not grape him, then to willingly giving themselves to that damn devil. All right, and then to the head tribe woman, all right, who at one point in ancient times was the most attractive woman on the planet Earth out of the tribes. Long natural hair, gorgeous, glowing skin, smelling good, beautiful, beautiful, curvaceous, toned figure, all the lumps and bumps in the right place, beautiful feet, no crusty feet, beautiful nails, hands, from the ancient world, when we were in our glory. This is it. Look at this now. This is what we are. I mean, not we. Look at this is what the black woman is now. Okay, they basically, this statue is they what the Esau is doing is showing you, Jake's out there saying that, look at yourselves, look in the mirror, look at your women. We made a statue of your woman. Look at the condition of you people. All right. Now, if they made a statue of a so-called white woman because this is their world which is falling, they would make all beautiful, long, flowing hair and shit in shape, and they definitely have a man standing next to her with some children, and they have some children there too. But the ninja woman, they got her alone, Lone Ranger.
Star's sculpture stands between West 46th Street and West 47th Street in one of the most iconic tourist destinations in the world. Facing north, she towers over two statues of white men, Catholic priest Francis P. Duffy and playwright George M. Cohan, at the top and bottom ends of the block. It's worth noting both are permanent fixtures, while Grounded in the Stars will be on display until June 17th. With a proud posture and hands on her hips, the structure is a head turner. Unveiled on April 29th, she's an unidealized fictional character in plain clothes with a vacant stare and undoubtedly black facial features. Her ease is meant to give a subtle nod to Michelangelo's David and disrupt traditional ideas around what defines a triumphant figure and challenges who should be rendered immortal through monumentalization. But according to societals, she represents three things that no one dares to be, lest be treated lesser: fat, black, and a woman. And because of that, much of the online debate surrounding the statue sparked conversation rooted in misogynoir, elitism, fat phobia, and just plain hate. Many of those loud and wrong critics are the usual suspects: conservatives who also believe diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts are unnecessary, and racist trolls who have used AI to turn the statue into a racist caricature. They've even dubbed her an angry black woman, despite her neutral facial expression. Even an inanimate sculpture representing a black woman gets hit with stereotypical projections. There's no surprise here. Some of the most disappointing commentary, however, has been from black social media users. In a now deleted video, TikToker at ImJustAGirl2 called the statue monstrous. Meanwhile, black men debated the depiction of the statue representing a plus-sized woman, calling it disgusting on live streams and timelines.
It's only so-called black women that are bigging it up as well. A lot of women have come to the realization that all this feminism, all what the powers that be that have been doing, they've come to a revelation that that they were wrong. Okay, they were wrong. They come to the realization, but then you got a lot of so-called black women that are actually okay with this. Reason being, because things are okay for them. Life is okay for them at the moment. All right, they're probably young, probably don't have no children, don't have a husband, don't care to at this moment in time. But that's gonna change very soon. All right, when society falls. Okay, this is just a caricature. This is a joke. This is just a mockery, a complete mockery, and it shows a condition of the so-called black woman today: unattractive, ugly, fat, disrespectful, manly, okay, uncoachable, right, unfeminine, unfit, with a complete attitude. And some of you jakes still want this shit. I want the black queen. Well, you can have her. Shit.
An anonymous person has even started a petition calling for the statue's removal, stating that black women have become targets of hate and bullying since it was erected. Unlike the graceful and dignified portrayals often seen in public art of women from other backgrounds, this statue presents a distorted image of black women that promotes harmful stereotypes rather than inspiring pride or respect, reads the petition, which has more than 1,000 signatures. Over the span of 30 minutes, I saw something very different. I watched as a diverse array of tourists took photos of and with the statue, some even adopting her pose. The only sign of mockery came from three black teens who laughed as they snapped photos of and with the statue. Masani Grayson Stark, a Bronx native who visited the statue on Tuesday, called it dope and said, It seems like the meaning is flying over people's heads. Her only critique: I don't want to be grounded. I want to be flying amongst the stars. Another passerby, Carl Ebanks, took a selfie with the statue and praised the statue for representing a regular, beautiful black woman. A group of black women on vacation from
Beautiful. What the fuck is beautiful about that? Have you noticed that? I've even noticed as well when a woman is actually really attractive, nobody praises her. When it's some fat bitch with a wig on, oh your god, she's so beautiful. Look at her skin. Look at her. Look how she's so nice. Okay, the reason why a lot of you women think that she's beautiful is because you feel better about yourself. Okay, because when a woman actually who's flawless looks walks in a room and she's gorgeous, you women feel like going back into the bathroom and redoing your makeup. Think, oh shit, she's outshining us. Beautiful. Fuck out of here.
London and Manchester made Grounded in the Stars a priority on their sightseeing, along with the Statue of Liberty. She's confident and very sure about who she is and where she.
Keep saying this term black, 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 and people are so dumb, dumb. Black just means void of light, man. Black is not even a color, as Elder Malcolm would say of GMS Chicago. And I urge you to subscribe to all the great Millstone channels, man, from the Apostles on down.
Stands in this place and time. Barbara Lopez from London said, I see this woman as, I'm black, I'm proud, I can do anything I put my mind to, and there's nothing you can tell me that I can't. And so I stand here to show you all that I won. Her friend, Josephine Berg, emphasized the significance.
It's just emphasizing that feminism shit. Okay, as a lot of women are waking up, making TikTok videos, saying that they want a man. They made a mistake of behaving the way they did in their younger years. Playing the COCK carousel. A lot of them are waking up to the truth that they made a mistake and no man wants them now because they're has-beens. A lot of Jake are dealing with Edomite women and other women of other nations, and that's a beautiful thing because Edomite women and women of other nations are more attractive and they look better. You know, right? Nobody wants to deal with them anymore. So as a lot of women wake up, make videos like that, then a lot of what Esau does is add his little spin on things to sort of solidify it further with people that are about to wake up, but they don't wake up when they see, let's just say a so-called black woman is waking up saying that, okay, you know what? I'm watching the Israelites now. I made a mistake behaving this way. Lord willing, I'll be okay. She's trying to get herself right. And, Satan loves the woman, loves to mess with them, especially the so-called black woman, the Judite woman. Here comes that statue. And that's going to say, oh, she's back to square one, saying, oh, I can do anything. Look how strong she looks. She's 12 feet tall. Look how big she is. She's towering over two white men. I can do anything. I'm going to go back to work Monday, or I'm going to work from her, whatever she does. And I'm going to work harder. I'm going to do this and that and the third. Leading to the detriment, leading to the destruction.
Of her being in Times Square, especially at a time when black culture and identity are being downplayed and erased by both federal and corporate entities. This shows that America needs to embrace all cultures. Me being from South Africa and I see this, it hits very close to my heart. We seem to be undermined, she said. Seeing the statue and the real-time responses to it made it even more evident that this sculpture isn't a caricature, nor is it a misrepresentation of black women. Price constructed the art from images, observations, and open calls spanning between Los Angeles and London. Real black women are proudly seeing themselves in this art and claiming space in a way that doesn't demand.
So a real black woman is fat and ugly, right? That's what a real black woman is. So realness has to be unattractive. Realness can't be attractive and in shape and feminine. Right?
Permission. And while art is subjective, the online discourse carries real implications for real people. The statue looks like somebody's mother, somebody's daughter, somebody's aunt. She looks like somebody. But the way people are talking about this statue isn't just about the statue. These are the ideas they hold about real everyday black women who haven't asked for anyone's validation or approval. Yet some folks are trying their damnedest to invalidate that experience and shame Black women for not only existing outside Eurocentric beauty standards, but also into believing they aren't deserving of being seen unless they're shapely, hair slayed for the gods, and smiling. We know that we aren't a monolith, but to look at this statue and not recognize someone in your life or even yourself is
Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Actually, you know, it's another minute to go. Let's see what what the article is saying.
telling, and that says more about you than the art. Though calling for its removal or admonishing it may bring some people satisfaction, the real issue here runs deeper. With or without this statue, people are still anti Black women, especially if they don't fit within a specific parameter of beauty standards. There's victory in this statue's very existence.
What parameter of beauty standards, man? Natural hair, nicely in shape, good clean skin. You know, every ethnicity's got its beauty standards, man. You know, there's no beauty standards amongst black women, man. Whole cake on your face, somebody else's hair, you know, and a fucking attitude to boot. We're just, man. I'm just even looking at the statue makes me sick. I'm just gonna let's play it, finish it up.
Not only because it disrupts traditional ideas of what a sculpture should be, but also because, regardless of the conversation surrounding it, Grounded in the Stars still stands proudly. They're not looking to engage or for validation, the artist told Interview magazine of his work in 2016. They exist whether or not the viewer is there. It's true that Black women still, in 2025, don't have an adequate amount of images that represent the full spectrum of who we are.
They don't have an adequate amount of images. Yeah? Go and get our gaggers.
But a part of humanizing us has to be rooted in the mundane and unglamorous, too, because we are here. And that, in and of itself, is glorious.
They don't have adequate amount of images. All right? Who's in the forefront of all music? Okay, who invented all genres of music? Okay, the Israelites, so-called black man, right? And then who's used in these especially modern music as you know, women. What kind of woman do they use to entice, shaking their backsides and that? So-called black woman. You don't see the so-called white woman in music videos doing that. All right, it's a so-called black woman they put in the forefront. Okay, all you are is an object of sexual desire, just to bust a nut and keep it moving, not to be wifed. All right, and all you are is a joke. Okay, for some people to have a subject to talk about and laugh, and all you are, okay, is a caricature. You are a caricature, and this is just basically just bringing the scriptures to life. There's nothing to be proud about this, and this is going to be blown off the map anyway. All right, when Yahweh Bashim Mashai presses a button, and America is going to be nuked. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. Keep it short and sweet. All right, so this is a caricature, nothing to be proud of. All right, all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakakwadash. Shalom.